My name is Maimuna Jallo, and I'm a storyteller. And I've just performed The Secret Lives of Baba Segi's Wives, which is based on the novel by Lola Shoneyin. And who is my favorite character? That's just such a difficult question because it has changed over time. Initially, I loved Iyafemi. Iyafemi is sassy. She's the one who, as a child, was taken to work for some people, for grandma, because her parents had died. And she was really mistreated. And eventually, basically, marrying Baba Segi was a form of escape. And she's sassy, she's strong, she insults the other wives, and I identified with her very quickly at the beginning because I liked her strength. But as time has gone on, I've fallen in love with the different women at different times. And often it depends on, what I'm going through in my own life, because they're not just characters to me, they're real women and they live in my imagination. So I have gone through a period where I've been completely in love with Iyatope. She's so childlike, and we assume that she's very naive, and yet she claims her power at some stage by, falling in love with another man and having a relationship with him and having children with him. So I think that all the four women in Baba Segi's Wives are beautiful in their own way. So it's really hard to choose a favorite. As they say, when they ask you who's your favorite child, it's impossible to say. And with Baba Segi's Wives, it changes over time. I'm really happy that Ake Festival chose to choose the theme of feminism and call this festival the F word, because I don't think that we can ever speak enough about the need for equality between men and women. And whilst there have been some advances, and when I look at, for example, at my daughters, I hope that today that they have a better ability to stand up for themselves. But the fact is that they will still need to stand up for themselves. I think we still have a huge problem. You look at the rape statistics. You look at, when I perform Baba Segi's Wives and I do the last character, Bonlale, and she talks about her rape ordeal. I'm very, very conscious of the fact that probably a vast majority of the women in the audience, if they have not experienced rape, they've experienced some other form of violation. It's not the exception. Sadly, it's still the rule. So it's important that we still have spaces like this to keep talking about the issues of rape, of sexual abuse, of the need for equality, the need for women's empowerment. And the thing is that they're amazingly strong, beautiful, intelligent, kind women all over the world. But the system is still patriarchal and still driven by capital and by men. So we need to keep talking about this, and we need to keep trying to change the situation that we're in. I'm such a huge fan of literature. It's very hard to choose one book that I've read that I love. I love many, many books. I recently read Homecoming by Ya Jiasi. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her last name well. And it takes us through 7 generations, from as way back as before the slave trade, to the slave trade, to modern day America. And I just think that the way she manages to weave the stories of these 7 generations is just done so beautiful and with such expertise. And actually, quite frankly, for the last 2 years, I think I've only read literature written by African authors, just because there's so much coming out, from the continent, and so much of it is so good. But I will say that one of my other favorite authors is Isabel Allende from Latin America. And her book, Island Beneath the Sea, is also one of my favorite novels. My favorite color, you can guess, is ochre. So not yellow, not that, very bright yellow, but ochre, which, has a bit more of an orangish tinge to the yellow. And because it reminds me of the sunrise, and it's a color that makes me feel happy. Yes, it's bright, it's joyful, and it's like the sunrise.